Guys, I'm sad. Why? This is like my third time recording this. Oh my god. First time, like, I didn't do a great job at it, you know. And then second time, I was so hyped because I just did that just now. I was like kind of excited. I have tea with high sugar. It makes me very much excited for this video. And then I realized I didn't plug the microphone. So I hope this works, and I hope this third tape works. But yeah, hi, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for clicking, by the way. You look great. So today we are going to break down my Billie Eilish painting here, and I'm going to explain to you how actually does digital art works. And yeah, I have sinus, by the way, so it makes it much more tough to do this video the third time. This video is going to be a bit chaotic, guys, but yeah, it is what it is, right? I want to make a video and I'm making... I need a moment, guys. Let me freshen up real quick. Alright, so welcome to my Photoshop file. So this is the Billie Eilish painting. I have the reference on top of me. Now I need to explain the layer modes I use. So if you're like a beginner digital artist, I really recommend for you to work with layers. But if you're really intimidated by it, sure, you can work with one layer first. I do that too with my earlier digital paintings. I just work with one layer, but then I start to experiment as I go. So if you like click on a new layer, every layer here can be changed into a new layer mode. So if you click on this part here, this square box here, there's a normal, and then you can see all of the layer modes here, and they are separated into their own categories. So what you need to know is that the top here is the normal mode. Dissolve, nobody really use that. It's really, I don't know, I don't really like it. But if you go to the down category part here, this is the darken category. So any color, oh no, I'm sorry, if you choose this category here, it will darken like almost all of the color in it with its own properties. So different kind of layer modes have different styles of darkening it. But yeah, essentially they darken stuff up, and then for the category down below is for the brighten stuff up. So we have lighten, screen, and the down below of that category we have the contrast category, basically to make your painting more contrast, more pop, like little more into it. So all the layer modes that add a little bit more into your painting is use these layer modes. So down to below there, they're not really essential. I don't really use them a lot, you know. So but if you want to test them out, yeah, I suggest really experimenting with all of the layer modes when you want to like see what they do. Yeah, I just really recommend just scroll through it, test everything out. Okay. Alright, so what are the layer modes that I use? So the layer modes that I use is just normal for normal painting, multiply for shadow, because they are on the darken category, and screen for brightening, and overlay to add more pop into it, to add more contrast onto the painting. I use overlay. You can use other if you want, but typically this is what I learned from other digital artists. They use multiply for shadow, screen for the brightening part, and overlay for adding more saturation onto it. So yeah, you can of course test them out. I really suggest you guys go test them out. Alright, with all of that being said, we can now start to break down all of the layers that I use. So let me just start to deconstruct this painting so you guys can see. Trigger warning, it's kind of scary. Alright, so I'm going to turn off the layers now by clicking this eyeball one by one. Tush, 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 tush. Yes, I know, it's scary. Bear with it. Bear with me. Alright, so we have deconstructed the painting to its original state, which is a blank piece of canvas. So now like we can start explaining. Alright, so the first thing I do is, of course, I sketch Billie herself. So I took a bit around like 1 hour-ish for Billie here, to draw Billie here, because I just want to get her expression right and her proportions right. And also there's hands in it, and hands is like my worst nightmare currently. I need more studies, I need to do more studies with hands. And I just said to myself, you know what, take your time with this hand here, with this two hand here, and don't rush yourself with the sketching process, because if your sketch doesn't look right in the first place and you start painting it, you will start to question like, why is the painting something looks wrong, but you don't know what it is. It's most probably you like mess up the sketch part. So I think it's much better for you to redraw the sketch part if you're not happy with it, than hours later when you start to render it and you realize that you kind of mess up the proportions of the face here. So yeah, take your time with the sketch if you want. Alright, and I really recommend it. So after that, I put in the background color. So for this background color, I just eyeball it from the reference. I didn't really color pick it, and it's not really correct, but I don't really mind it. It doesn't really matter, and I think it's a bit more brighter, so I did brighten it up. And I used the adjustment layer here, the brightness and contrast. By clicking the brightness and contrast icon here, it will create a new adjustment layer, and you can play with the adjustment by using the slider here. Alright, so yeah, it's still not accurate to the reference. I think there's a bunch of color color distortion there, in I'm not sure color distortion is the right word, but yeah, color variation in the background there. But that's not my focal point, so I don't really care. So then what I do that is I do the underpainting layer. So this is a technique I borrow from artists like Ramon and Seeping Art. They use this technique quite a lot. So what they do is they take a color to do the underpainting layer, and then they color the whole entire silhouette of the characters. So any color you want, gray, turquoise, brown, any color. So after that, they can start putting their base color on top of it, and it makes the process much more easier. So let me tell you why. They clip the base color layer with the underpainting layer. So if I unclip this clipping mask here, you can see how the color goes overboard from the character, goes over the character, and that's because when I don't clip it, I just color it. I just color it very messy, very with a lot of freedom. So when I clip it back, it will fall. The color will only apply to the color that you have put on the underpainting layer. So that's why I think it's a really good technique, because it really saves you time than trying to like color inside the lines. You still have to color inside the line between two colors, like the hair and the skin there. You still have to put much attention to that, but it's not as much when you like trying to, it saves you a lot of time. So yeah, I put the base color that is clipped onto the underpainting layer, and the base color is only mid-tone color that I see from the reference. So I don't pick any bright colors or dark colors from the reference, just the mid-tone. So let me just zoom in. I don't know if you guys can see that. Hold on. Okay, you guys can see it. So I don't pick the color under her eye here. This is very bright. I pick the color around the chin here, or the cheek. I mean the cheek. Yeah, this color here. So you can see how similar the color is. And for the hair, I think it's more of a honey blonde color. I didn't pick the upper part because the upper part is very affected by the lighting. So I grabbed like a color that is a bit around here, somewhere like here. Yeah, and for the cardigan, I think, or the scarf, whatever it is, I choose a bit of peachy color part, even though it looks a bit more yellow now that I look at it, but it really doesn't matter. So yeah, that's how I pick the base color, choose the mid-tone color. Alright, and then I clip that onto the underpainting layer. And then now it's time for ambient occlusion layer and shadow layers. So let me just turn them on. Alright, so you see how the shadow layer is going outside of your character, but if I clip them back, use the create clipping mask. The way to do it is right click and then see the create clipping mask, and then you click the create clipping mask. Just like that. Alright. So there's a difference between shadows and ambient occlusion. Let me show you by showing you an example in this photo here. Alright, so in this photo of balls here, there is a light hitting the surface and the ball, but where the ball is obstructing the surface behind it, it will create a shadow, casting onto the surface. So the cool thing about shadow is light can still bounce into the shadow and create a shadow color. So if you can see the underside of this ball here, there's like a green dark shadow. If you look at the blue ball here, there's also like a dark blue shadow under it, and there's also like an orange color back here. So light can still penetrate into shadows and creating like a shadow color. But for ambient occlusion, it's where multiple surfaces touch each other and there's no light going into that crevice of surface there. So you can see the ambient occlusion with this green ball and the blue ball here. You can see that dark part, it's almost like black color, and there's also this part here, orange, yellow, and blue. There's that crevice where there's almost black. So that's ambient occlusion, meaning there is no ambient light there's no ambient light hitting the surrounding of the surface. So yeah, it's occluded. Alright, so that's why I put two layers there. I usually just put them in one, but to make it more clear to myself, I separate it for this video. So yeah, I use the multiply layer because this multiply layer darkens the color. Alright, so Alright, editing Najib here. I need to intervene and I need to hop in real quick because I didn't mention one thing before continuing on with this video. So if you're trying out the multiply layer or the screen layer or the overlay layer, you know, what you typically would do is you color pick the base color and then you just color over it. So let's say this is your base color, this green here on the color table thing. Oops, right. And then you would just color it as your shadow color. But try do this one step before you color it. Drag the circle here to the gray part. And to me, in my opinion, it makes the shadow color looks much more convincing. You know, you can see the difference there. And if you want to like put logic into it, usually shadow loses its color, you know, because shadow tends to be the more cooler part of the base color. Bluish color doesn't mean it's cool color, you know. So try to, if you even take it to the gray part and then compare it to the base color, there would be a comparison of which color is warmer and which color is cooler. So yeah, by taking it to the gray side, I think it will make your shadow much more sense, make it much more sense. It works with the screen layer, the bright layer too. Let me change it to the screen layer. See how the light makes much more sense than the green one. So yeah, try taking this step before coloring your multiply, shadow, and overlay layer. So yeah, that is it from editing Najib, and we'll go back to that current Najib. All right, let me just turn off the layer to show you guys. So this is the shadow layer only. So you see some parts are darkened, and this is the ambient occlusion layer turned on. So the way to check is check the darkest part of the reference. So it's usually under the chin here. So that's where I put my ambient occlusion layer, and I paint under the eyes also because the eyes here is also very dark, and surround this eye also, and this part here is also very dark. That's where ambient occlusion is, and also this part of the hand here, very small part there. So yeah, I applied it all there, as you can see here. Alright, so now we can introduce the light. So the light I use, like I said, the screen mode. Alright, see how it goes outside the character. If I clip it onto the underpainting layer, it will go inside of the character only. The colors that I painted will affect only inside the underpainting layer. So you guys should really try this out. If you like haven't tried this out, I think almost all of the digital artists have used this. So if you're a beginner, you should try this out. Alright, so for screen layer, like I said, I color pick the base color and then desaturated it, and I just paint with the potato brush onto it, and see where the light hits, I color it. So on top of this head here, and on the scarf cardigan thing here, and her hand as well. So yeah, that is for the light layer. And then on top of that, I have the sketch, because the sketch is always on top, because I don't really want to render it in full detail, you know. I just want to do like a quick painting, so that's why I put the sketch on top, because without the sketch the painting would break apart. Like, look at this, like that's horrendous, like Billie Eilish dark web. So yeah, the sketch plays an important part in this painting. So and I like the sketch look at it. So kind of messy, but I kind of like it. And then that's it. All right, that's the like basic part of constructing a painting. I think it's a very safe way, and it's a very fast way to paint a picture in digital art. So you can try and use this technique. And then after that is what I would do adjustment layer, basically to adjust some settings, adjust some colors, add more details. Yeah, this part is where I just use normal layers and maybe like an overlay layer like that. So I have two adjustment layers where I paint with normal brush, the potato brush, and on normal layer. So this is how it looks. This is not clipped under the underpainting layer anymore, because I want to put more details onto it. So yeah, this is how it looks. I put details on the scarf and the hair. I draw like individual strands to make it more detailed. So yeah, this is how it looks. And then I have the background details with the snowflakes kind of brush, you know. And then I have the eyelashes on a separate layer. I did it on a separate layer and not together with the sketch layer, because I have a lot of trauma with eyelashes. Like, I don't know why eyelashes is very hard for me to draw, you know. It's one of the top things to hard for me to draw. I don't know why. I watched a lot of tutorials and still it's hard to draw, but this worked, you know, because I think I did it on a new layer. So yeah, it worked, and I like the big eyelashes because Billie Eilish is also like a meme where they call her Billie Eyelash. I think kind of works, you know. So yeah. And then I use an overlay layer for the glow, to add more like punch to the painting, where I feel like the color is going to be a bit more flat. So I put an overlay layer. For overlay layer, it's also the same. The color is almost gray. You can see how I turn it into normal layer. It's gray. So when I put it in an overlay layer, it picks up the color behind those layer and adds a bit more saturation and brightens it. So yeah, it adds a bit more punch. It adds a little bit more punch into it. All right. So then I use the adjustment layer. This is called the levels levels layer, where you play with the slider and they make the dark part more dark and the bright part more bright. So yeah, I have two layers here. I don't know why I made two and not one, but I think they have their individual purposes, where this brighten it well and this one tightens it back up. You know, there's a difference here. So this isn't without those layers, and then this is where I brighten it and take it back. It's very different. Do you guys see it? I think it's very different. Yeah. And then that's it. This is an extra layer for demonstration just now, and that's it. Oh wait, one thing before I finish this video also, like the technique that I said before, where I use the underpainting and clip that back, is also cool if you turn off the underpainting. So check this out. If you turn off the underpainting, this is, oh no, not that, my bad. If you turn off the base color, yeah, the base color is not the underpainting. Turn off the base color layer. This is how it look. Alright, so there's weird spotches of color here because that is due to the adjustment layers. Let me turn off the adjustment layer. Alright, so this is how we look without the base color. Basically, it helps for you to see the forms of the characters. So if you're painting using this technique, like, works without the base color, you can still see the form of a human with the hair and the scarf and cardigan thing. It means that you have made your rendering work. You know, you have did a great job with your rendering, because I can see that there's a person there. You know, when you turn your base color back up, it works. You know, I think her hair is much more brighter actually. Let me just try to brighten it up. Much brighter. Yeah, that's it. Yep, that's it. Yeah, it's much more brighter. Okay, I did not notice that. Alright, that looks much more better. Right? There's like a difference, right? Oh my god. Yeah, things like that happen to artists. Like, I hope you can relate to that, because like sometimes when I post stuff and then I look back onto it, I'll be like, what is that hair doing there? What is that dot doing there? You know, I could have adjusted a bit more better. And yeah, this is exactly what happened, and I'm glad it happens at this stage and not like the editing or posting stage, you know? And yeah, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna notice much more stuff that I could adjust after the posting stage, you know. But you know what? Yeah, I'm happy with this. Yeah, this adjustment make it much more better, I think. Yeah. Alright, so that is all for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for your time. And yeah, let me know down below if you want me to answer any of your digital art questions. You know, if you're like a beginner, what kind of videos you want me to make and answer about digital art, you know, I can about my painting process or something like that. And if you enjoyed this video, leave a like. Thank you so much, and subscribe for more. And I'll see you guys in the comments. Let's have a chat about digital art or anything you want me to know. Just share anything in the comments if you want. All right, I'm happy to read you guys' story if you want. So, and yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you for clicking. Bye.